Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Did you know that you can use a tag punch to create a card? So this is today's project, and I am using the Fancy Fraser stamp set, which is bundled with the Fancy Tag Topper punch. If you undo the card, you can see that it uses half an A4 sheet, and it's just strategic scoring in order to get this effect. So these tags at the top meet in the middle, and then you can tie a bow through it to secure it shut. The card base is petal pink, and that's half an A4 sheet. In Europe that measures 5 7/8 inches by 8 1/4 inches, and in metric that's 14.85 centimeters by 21 centimeters. Basic grey matte layer for the inside of the card measures 5 5/8 by 3 3/4. That's 14.3 centimeters by 9.5. The Whisper White layer that goes on top for the inside of the card measures 5 1/2 by 3 5/8. That's 14 centimeters by 9.2 centimeters. Layers for the front of the card is in basic grey. This measures 2 1/4 by 5 5/8 inches. That's 5.7 centimeters by 14.3 centimeters. And the Whisper White layer that goes on top is 2 1/8 by 5 1/2. That's 5.4 centimeters by 14 centimeters. The die I used for the label here is from the Stitch Sew Sweetly dies, and you can find it in the annual catalogue. And we're going to be using this die. Other items I'm using is this metallic mesh ribbon. It's 1 1/2 inches in width. It's absolutely stunning, and it's from the Halloween suite in the August to December 2020 mini. Need some metallic pearls, petal pink and basic grey ink, petal pink scrap in order to stamp and die cut the label. To start with, I'm going to stamp the decorative piece on the front of the card in petal pink with the largest of the floral images from Fancy Fraser stamp set. I just love how with a bit of ink and a stamp you can create your own designer series paper. And just remember that when you are stamping onto a narrow strip of cardstock like this, to re-ink each time, because if you don't, part of the ink has been already stamped and the other part hasn't, so you will get lines. Glue this piece that we've just stamped onto the basic grey matte layer for the front of the card. Stamp when I count my blessings, sort of allowing room to die cut the image like so. Before I do that, I need to show you how to score and cut. So bring in my scoreboard, cut up the cardstock with the long side at the top, and I'm going to score at 7/8 inches, but not all the way down. So I need to use my ruler and put it at the 2-inch mark, and that's where I want to score up to. So 7/8 inches down to the 2-inch score line, and use my stylus to run it down and make a mark there at the bottom, also at 7/8 inches. Place my ruler at the 4-inch mark, which is here, and then score from there up to the ruler at the 4-inch mark. Okay, then I want to score at 3 3/8 inches, and then all the way down at 7 3/8 inches. Rotate my cardstock anti-clockwise 90 degrees, and then score at 2 inches up to that 7/8 inch score line. Okay, and at 2 inches run your stylus right down to the bottom and score from 2 inches up to that score line where you've scored here. Okay, do the same, 4 inches, run that down and score up to that score line, and score from 4 inches down to your 7/8 inch score line. So then your card should look like that. Now I'm going to burnish my score line on the side where it's scored all the way down, and I'm going to make a snip straight across that score line at 2 inches and straight across the score line at 4 inches. Alright, bend that back, put it against your trimmer and cut that off. So you should be left with the tab like so. Alright, now you can't do it with this one because you don't want that to fold, so you have to be careful how far you cut. So only cut partially, flip it over and then cut the other side, and then finish trimming it off afterwards with your scissors. So cut across there on your horizontal score line, and same here. Bring in your fancy tag topper punch and lock it, and then insert your cardstock, and you'll find that it won't buckle your card, and line it up so that where the cut is you can punch. So that's your first punch, and you do the same on this side. So line it up so that 2 inch is aligned with the top of the tag, and punch. So the tag that folds in is on your right. So you want to burnish the cardstock on this side and see how it meets perfectly. Adhere this to your card. Adhere the matte layer to the inside of the card. Now normally I would stamp first before I glue it on. I wanted to know where to stamp that, so it's better to stamp it afterwards. So I'm going to glue that onto my card. Put a scratch piece of paper underneath here so it won't stamp onto the card itself, and I'll stamp it here so that centers it. Stamp the sentiment. When I count my blessings, I count you twice. So I'm going to stamp it on the inside here so it won't show. Now I can die cut my label. I haven't got the magnetic platform yet, but this will be available for sale on the 1st of September, the magnetic platform for the die cutting machine that Stampin' Up has just brought out. It's a fully magnetic sheet, a self-healing mat can't wait to get mine. It will be available on the 1st of September at the same time as it's available to customers. So there wasn't a pre-order period, but I've filmed my videos in advance, so I haven't got it yet. But by the time this is published, it will be the middle of September. I'm just using the ordinary cutting platforms. Platform 1, Platform 2, which is the thin die adapter, one of the Platform 3s, which is a cutting plate, the cardstock, the die, cutting edge face down, the other plate 3 on top, and it's ready to run through the Stampin' Cut and emboss machine. So I'll do that off camera and I'll be back. Here's my die cut label. I'm going to stamp off first because I only want a faint hint of the plant just there. Pop some dimensionals on the back, remove the backing paper, pop it up on the top there, add the metallic pearls. A generous amount of the metallic mesh ribbon, and I'm just going to fold it in half, loop it through the tag topper hole here, and that secures the ribbon, so if you take it off it just won't fall off. And then pop that through and tie the ribbon. And then maybe that was a bit generous. There's your Fancy Phrases tag card completed. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Join me again next time for more inspiration. Don't forget the links are below this video. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and share, and I'd be ever so grateful. You can find me on Facebook as well as over on my blog. The links are all below this video in the Show More section. Thanks for watching. Bye.